Good afternoon, students. I welcome all of you to Dhruva Educational Academy, which is powered by Movishala online platform. Students, I am Dr. Prashant. I am faculty for Geography, Environment and Ecology and Disaster Management for UPSC as well as State PCS since last 10 years. So, students, recently we have seen that the 66th BPSC mains examination has been over in the last week of July, and we have thoroughly discussed the question papers on mains GS, especially geography and economic section, followed by the detailed and thorough discussion which is coupled with the proper notes or synopsis of what sort of your answer should be you have written in your mains optional paper. And after that, now we are moving ahead for the 66th BPSC general discussion. So students, I will take a flashback on 66th BPSC mains paper. So, in 66th BPSC, we had GS paper 2. I will confine only to the GS paper 2 because we have to deal with the subject called geography and optional paper geography. So, if we see the questions that were asked in those GS paper as well as the optional component, we can see that it was a good admixture of your conventional part along with your current affair part. And that is the reason why I always guide the students that your preparation should be both comprising conventional areas coupled with the current information. If especially it comes plays greater role in optional and especially the section 2, that means the paper 2 of optional, because it becomes very boring task for even your evaluator to that you write there the old points whatever is there in the old data, and if it is not coupled with the fresh one, the current one, or if it is not coupled with the development that is taking place in current scenario, unless and until it will not enrich your answer. So that's why the focus should be, your strategy should be two-way, a dual strategy. That means conventional part as well as must be strong upon the current part. So we have dealt in thoroughly the discussion upon the 66 both mains GS part as well as your optional paper part. So I expect some of the students will definitely score a better score, that means 200 plus. So now students, we would majority of you would have been, and the freshers, those have awaiting keenly about the 66th BPSC notification. So what I expect is that it may be in the month of, by the last week of this month of August, the notification will be come out, and we will expect that the examination prelims may be in the month of October or mid somewhere in the November, etc. Maybe mostly November. So whatever it may be, but we have to prepare, we have to keep our strategy and follow it right since the very first day. So here we are beginning with the optional geography optional paper for BPSC. So our today's class is an introductory class, and that will be focused mainly upon the geography optional paper on its various multifarious aspects of this optional subject. So let's begin with it. So as far as BPSC is concerned, so students, we know that as far as the main part is concerned, because it's a mains exam, that is the main important battlefield for your selection and your ranking, because PT is just of a qualifying nature. So as far as we consider the mains, it comprises the three important papers: paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. These are the three important papers that frames your future and your ranking in BPSC final list. So here paper 1 I mean GS paper 1, paper 2 means that means GS paper 2, and paper 3 here I mean your optional paper, whatever it may be, history, sociology, geography, polity, all any subject. So these are the three important subjects that determine your future. So as far as BPSC is concerned, that we have seen, what I have seen through the regular years since last 10 years of my practice that it is this paper 3, that means your optional paper, that carries the maximum weightage, maximum importance. Why come? Because as far as this GS paper 1 and paper 2 is concerned, these papers are, if any person, any aspirant who has thoroughly prepared this GS paper 1 and paper 2, and if he is not committing any mistake in the exam hall and making up summations of his answer very focused and pinpointly, then he is bound to get very good score, or he is in position to secure the score that he is expecting. Yes, I have attempted in this way, so I can score a mark in between this and this range. And provided that he does not commit some mistakes such as time lag or some questions if left behind because of the sparsity of time, or he is giving more important weightage to some questions and leaving behind, or attempting some questions haphazardly. So it may be the scenario where your marks may be deducted in GS paper, or if you are from art background and you could not manage well your statistic portion, so there your mark may be deducted. So considering these miscellaneous developments, if this does not happen and you thoroughly do well, comfortably does well in these papers, so you can expect the score that you can determine, yes, this may be the range of my score. So it's all possible in paper 1 and paper 2 of GS. But when it comes to your optional paper, even if you have thoroughly prepared it since last 2 and 3 years, you have attempted every question well, but despite that, there may be certain doubt that yes, the marks you have scored that you are expecting, perhaps there will not be out even answer your final tally. But why this happens? Because there are certain factors that we'll discuss, and whatever it may be, but this is the point. This is the reason why you need some special approach toward your optional. You need some special strategy to deal this optional portion. Because remember, my students, especially as our optional geography is concerned, you have always the potential to score 200 plus marks, provided you need to follow certain basic principles. If you do, and this basic principle, basic precautions you need to follow right since the very first day of your preparation. If you are ready for that, then believe me, this is not miracle. Easily you can follow it. Easily you can grab this score. This is for sure, especially I will beat as far as the optional geography is concerned. Getting it? Now, after this preliminary discussion about the 3 papers, now we'll come to the optional. We have seen what is the importance of optional. Yes, whatever we have discussed now, it was just the significance of the importance of any optional paper. How any optional is important? Because just we have seen in GS, you can expect a score that you can get a score that you have expected, but in optional, it's always treacherous. It's not necessary that your optional will face the same mark that you are expecting after coming out of the exam hall. Yes, and this is the very nature of optional subject. That's why it is called as, it is this optional paper that determines the future of BPSC aspirant, whether he will write again the prelims, mains and interview, that means he's falling again in a vicious trap of this examination after examination, or he is getting directly selected in a top ranking merit list of the BPSC board. Yes, so that is the reason why your optional selection and optional preparation and optional study, it matters a lot in entire throughout preparation of your BPSC exam. Yes. Now let's come to the subject of geography as an optional subject. So, geography as an optional subject. Students, I am not being biased here. I will not tell anything that is manipulative to you because you are the students, but I am telling what is based upon my past experience of 10-12 years and what of both UPSC as well as state PCS. As far as this optional geography is concerned, everybody knows that it is one of the most popular and most favored subject by the IS aspirants as well as the BPSC aspirants. Why? Because of some certain inherent properties of this subject itself. And the most important is that it has a dual nature, both scientific as well as humanistic approach. Humanistic. And this very feature, this very important characteristic of this optional paper geography, the subject is favored by equally by your science background students as well as your art background students, because they find that yes, majority of the portion of geography is favoring to them, is familiar to them, and vice versa. Similarly, the students from scientific background, science background, doctors, engineers, or any other scholars, they find that yes, this is the scientific nature of the subject that is very familiar for me and it's suitable for me, where I can sustain my interest for a longer duration. So this is important benefit. Then secondly, the same scientific nature of the subject makes you the scoring subject. The same scientific nature of the subject makes it a scoring subject, and what we need a better scoring subject. And importantly, why? The best presentation you can make, the best presentation. Best presentation is possible with geography. Why best presentation is possible? Because you can substantiate your answer with the suitable maps, both maybe if it is on the global perspective with a world map. If it is in the Indian perspective, then the Indian map. Then as far as Indian map is concerned, both means you can use as a holistic map as well as a part diagram of the Indian map. And third, with respect to the Bihar map, means all these three you can show suitably with the help of these maps. You can substantiate your answer with the help of suitable diagrams, because there are like various events like cyclone, air pressure, etc. that we can represent with the help of diagrams. Then again you can substantiate answer with the charts and flow charts, etc. So that's what may come it when such paper comes before your evaluator. It does not become monotonous task for him. Means your answer sheet reflects some positive reflections to him. It becomes soothing for him to go through such papers which is comprising certain content, which is comprising, if this is your answer sheet, what happens with your answer sheet of geography? This margin, and see, you are making some content here, then again you are drawing some diagram here, then again you are substantiating your answer, or somewhere what you are doing, sometimes you are doing some chart presentation, means like that. You can make your presentation like that. Somewhere you can use your maps of India, so that your answer sheet becomes attractive and it gives a better presentation in a short time to the evaluator, and you can fetch his attraction. So this is another benefit of this, that you can make your presentation much very, very comfortably for him. Then in addition to that, as far as this geography is concerned, then it has relevance in both PT as well as mains GS. We have seen it is a very good role in the mains GS, PT, as well as importantly it's also important in case of interview. Because what happens, I have seen the BPSC board has regular questions upon your optional subject. It's a different thing. But additionally, the geography of Bihar, means you will get a number of questions. The geography of Bihar, like industries, economy, agriculture, rural background, what you can do for all these. So majority of the questions, if you have geography as your optional paper, believe me, you will win. If there are questions from this background, then you will definitely impress your interviewers. So these are the vast benefits of taking geography as optional. And other important benefits of this, that the study material. Remember, my students, while selecting any optional, one of the most important criteria is that you have to see how is the availability of study material in the market. But as far as geography is concerned, there is no dearth of the study material at all. Yes, and that too of a very good quality study material is available. So this again is added advantage of geography. Yes, these are the reasons why one should expect of taking the geography as optional for such number of reasons. So students, now we will discuss what exactly the syllabus of this geography is. So let's have a quick glance to the syllabus. Yes, so you can get it from your state BPSC board websites. So see, this is as far as geography. So as far as geography is concerned, it comprises two papers, two parts. One is section 1 and second is section 2. Yes. So as far as the section 1 is concerned, it comprises further the two parts. One is your physical geography and the second part is your human geography. Isn't it or not? Am I right or wrong? Just talk with me. See, my class will be never monotonous. My class will be never unilateral affair. It will be the bilateral affair. I will also participate. You too will have to participate. Doesn't matter behind the camera. Yes, you are at your own places. I am at my places. But I need your presence. I will feel it. So see, as far as section 1 is concerned, then the section 1, it comprises two parts. One is physical geography and second is human geography. Yes. Then as far as section 2 is concerned, it again comprises two important parts. One, that is the geography of India, and second part is geography of or the state of Bihar. Yes. So these are the two broad distribution of geography section 1, section 2, subdivided into physical as well as human, subdivided section 2 into geography of India and the geography of a state of Bihar. Now we will see in particular detail all these basic components of it. So as far as physical geography, that means the part 1 of section 1 is concerned, then it comprises the various sub branches as like, see, everybody know, as far as physical aspect is concerned, it comprises mostly, importantly, geomorphology, then followed by your climatology, oceanography and biogeography, that we call as the soil and vegetation. So see, as geomorphology, it is the first part. So students, recently we have discussed the 66 BPSC optional geography paper analysis. We have done it just a couple of classes back. So we have seen that in this recent BPSC optional paper, there was a question upon this point, that is a plate tectonic. Getting it? What was the question? The question was like that. What is plate tectonic? Yes. The question was, what is plate tectonic? What do you understand by plate tectonic? And how that is impacting the surface of the earth or the entire earth's crust? I mean, how that earth crust is been revolving, changing sort of. So the question was based upon the plate tectonic. The second question was upon the arid landforms. Yes, there were two important questions from this very first geomorphology unit. Getting it? And we have thoroughly discussed this question based upon it also, as well as question based upon the arid landforms. Yes, arid landform means the landforms which are formed due to the activity of the wind. We have thoroughly discussed that question. We have also supplemented our answer with some clips also, so for your just for your easy reference. So students, along with this, there are other landforms, that means the fluvial landform, glacial landforms, karst topography, very, very interesting part, rejuvenated and polycyclic landforms. Then prior to that, there is the evolution of the earth's crust, evolution and origin. Then Davis and Penck cycle, fluvial cycles, etc. These are the cycle of erosion, what is volcanism, etc. So all these are the very, very interesting of topics and very, very scoring nature. If it comes in the exam, you must attempt it. Then the second subunit here is the climatology. So as far as climatology is concerned, the atmosphere, structure and composition, very, very basic point. Then the air masses and the fronts. There was again the question upon the fronts, cyclones, related phenomenon, climatic classification, clopens and thornates, and groundwater and hydrological cycle. Yes, so this is as far as climatology is concerned. Then third point, it was on the soil and vegetation. This is also called as biogeography. So here the genesis of soil, classification and distribution, ecological aspects of savanna and monsoon forests. This is again very interesting portion, and then followed by the oceanography. So as far as oceanography is concerned, the ocean bottom relief features means what sort of features are there at the bottom of the ocean. So as far as this BPSC syllabus is concerned, the relief of the Indian Ocean itself are mentioned. But if you compare with UPSC syllabus, we have ocean relief features of both Atlantic Ocean as well as Pacific Ocean as well. Yes, here we are struck to only the Indian Ocean. Then the important, what is the concept of salinity? Then currents and tides, again interesting topic, ocean deposits and coral reefs. And finally the ecosystem. So as far as this ecosystem is concerned, it's very helpful for you in the environment and ecology, and for PT also you can get good chunk of questions from this also. So here we have to define what is ecosystem, the mass impact on the ecosystem and the global ecological imbalance. So this global ecological imbalance, this was also the important for 66 BPSC. Now, this is as far as the part 1 of the paper, section 1 is concerned. Now, come to the section B, that means the human and economic geography. So, as far as human and economic geography is concerned, we have some 4 points that we'll discuss here. The very first point is the development of the geographical thoughts. Yes. So, what is geographical thought, students? As far as geographical thoughts are concerned, means the various thinkers those have contributed in the development of the subject or a discipline of geography. We have to study some bit of regarding them. Means there were Greeks, there were Romans, there were British. Yes, all these have contributed, some Europeans also, in the development of this discipline of geography. And what were their opinions? So that we have to discuss. As far as the 66 BPSC is concerned, in this optional paper, we had a question based upon, yes, behavioralism. One was on behavioralism and other was on dualism and dichotomy in geography. So we have in our discussion on 66 BPSC question papers, we have thoroughly discussed what dualism is, what behavioralism is. So along with that, we have to also discuss the quantitative revolution. See, this is again very scoring question. Students initially think that yes, thought means it would have been the boring concept, but no, it's very, in fact, I will say that it's very, very scoring. And if there is a question upon geographical thought, you must attempt it, because majority of the students, they ran away from this portion. Getting it or not? And it's that point where you should pinch inside. Because the examiner or the evaluator will see that yes, this is the person who has attempted this question upon the geographical thought. And a question upon a geographical thought is considered that if a student is attempting that, what does it mean? It simply indicates that you have the grasp of, or you have the grip over the subject. You are taking interest in such the concepts like the geographical thought. What are the inherent principles in the development of this psychology as a organ, which is considered to be a bit difficult by the other students. So definitely if you are attempting a very good question on this portion, I am sure you will get 2 or 3 marks more than in compared to others. So we will discuss and we'll discuss all these topics in a very, very interesting manner. Don't worry, you leave just it upon to me. As far as the geographical thought portion is concerned, which is supposed to be boring, we will deal it in a very, very interesting manner. Fine. Then along with that, we have to see some European as well as British geographers, their contribution in the development of the subject of geography. Getting it? What exactly it? Just try to understand, because this is a bit difficult. Rest you know everything. You can, by reading all these languages, you can understand. This is only point where I need to be elaborative. What exactly this development of geographical thought is, especially for our fresher students. So geographical thought is nothing but what happens, my dear friends. any subject is developed bit by bit, and number of the scholars, number of the geographers, they have contributed in the development of geography. Yes, so what was their opinion about the geography? What new concept they were added to the geography? Just we have to think about that. What the Greeks have thought about this subject, what the Romans have thought about this subject of geography, how they have contributed in development, and how the different perspective they have come forward with, like the quantitative revolution, like behavioralism, all these subjects, possibilism. So these are the new schools, new approaches that were came forward in the development of this subject of geography, and just we have to see in simpler language. Yes, it's very, very interesting. You need not to bother about that. Now come on the part of human geography. So as far as human geography is concerned, it comprises the emergence of man and races. See, in this recent BPSC, there was a question upon race, and I was expecting a question upon race and tribes, and this time there is question upon both races as well as the tribes, Indian tribes. So it was very good question upon the Indian races. We have to see that again, mankind cultural evolution, major cultural realms. This is also important question. Cultural realms of the world, then international migrations, it is also important point, past migration, present migration, and world population distribution and growth, and demographic transition of the world and population. This was also very, very important point. Yes, see, these are very as such supposed to be the interesting point and not difficult. You have to need to prepare this for your GS as well. But what you have to need, you have to add some geographical jargon to it. How you need to make your generalistic answer geographic, that we will discuss in our classes while dealing all these points. Yes, again it is very interesting exercise. Now come to the settlement geography. As far as settlement geography is concerned, it comprises the concept of the rural and urban settlement. Yes, again for this 66 BPSC optional paper, there was a question upon this. So, rural settlement, patterns, city classifications, urban spheres of influence, this is important point. Again, rural-urban fringe, this is also important point. And here one, the internal structure of the cities, problems of the urban growth in the world. Yes, so we have seen that there was a question upon this in your recent BPSC exam. Now, it is followed by your political geography. So, as far as this political geography is concerned, what it comprises? It comprises the concept of nation and state, then frontiers and boundaries. Students, there was again a question in the 66 BPSC upon this point. What was the question? The question was upon the Indo-China border issue. Isn't it or not? We have thoroughly discussed while discussing our doing the analysis of this recent optional paper. So we have seen. So see, understand. Now here the current and conventional. See, as far as a whole, as far as this paper 2 is concerned, that means Indian geography and geography of Bihar, you will get a question which have a current relevance. Yes, so we know that since last 2-3 years there is a conflict between the India and China regarding the border. There was Doklam issue. Yes, Doklam issue in 2017, and again 2020 there were conflict between the two. Yes, so in that background the question was here put up in the examination. So you have to mention that point. Yes, what are the current developments in that scenario after giving the conventional part. So it was conventional plus current. Yes, after that the federalism, the concept of heartland and rimland. Yes, it is also again important. And federalism, there was again a question upon this federalism. In BPSC 66, there was a question upon this that we have thoroughly discussed this federalism. How the federalism, what sort of questions comes in the exam? How the concept, the federalism is necessary, or the in front of the priority of the running the state affairs in the country like India. Explain why, especially in the background of its socio-cultural aspects of our country. So we have thoroughly discussed this question. Then followed by the next unit is here the economic geography. So as far as economic geography is concerned, it comprises the world economic development. the measurements and the problems, the concept of resource and the world resources, their distribution and global problems. Important point. Again, the world energy crisis and limits to growth, again important point. Then world agriculture typology, yes, and world agricultural regions. In this recent 66 BPSC, there was a question upon this agricultural regions. It was on the Vitalji's classification. What was the question was what is the basis of the classification of world geographical regions by Vitalji. So as far as Vitalji is concerned, he was the first person who gave the classification of geographical regions of the world on scientific basis. So this was the more expected question that I was expecting. It was in the exam. Then again, the theory of agricultural location, world industry theory of location of industries, world industrial pattern, yes, and the problems, yes, and the world trade patterns. So this is as far as the economic portion of this paper 2 is concerned. Now we have to come to the Indian part. So as far as this Indian part is concerned, see what's here, just a minute. So physical aspect. So see, as far as Indian geography is concerned, we will discuss with it. Yes, just later. So physical aspects. So physical aspects means what? Means what is the geological structure of geological history of India? What is the physiography and the drainage system of India? Then origin and mechanism of the Indian monsoon. This is very, very important topic. Soil and vegetation. So another important benefit of this syllabus is that you can get benefit directly to your UPSC, and the way we will study here, it is both, means the same study material you can use for your UPSC. So we have kept the standard of our notes or study material in that part at par with the UPSC. So at BPSC also you can get a great advantage of these notes also. So after dealing this physical part, it's also been very interesting. Getting geology. Geology means what? Geography as well as geology. Both are deals with the study of the earth. But as far as geology is concerned, it's mainly dealt with how the origin of the earth takes place. Yes, and what are the structure of earth at that time, etc. The structure of the rocks that were found. It is all the part of geography that will deal in thoroughly in regular classes. Then followed by physiography. Physiography means what happens with how the physical structures of the India is. For example, we know Himalayas at the north, followed by the North Indian Great Plains, then followed by the Indian Plateau, which is confluent by the east coastal region and west coastal region and our island. So this structure is considered as a physiography of our India. Then drainage system means how the reverse pattern is that we have Gangetic rivers, we have Brahmaputra river system, we have Narmada, Tapi river systems, etc. That is again, it is interesting part. The origin and mechanism of Indian monsoon, soils and vegetation. So as far as monsoon is concerned, it's a very, very peculiar feature of your Indian subcontinent. One must have knowledge of it. It's very, very interesting to study the Indian monsoon. Yes, you will love it. So after that, again, I have a second part, that is the human aspect. As far as human aspect is concerned, then the tribal areas. Again, in 66 BPSC, there was a question upon the tribal areas and their problems, population distribution, density and growth, and population problems and policies. Then followed by there is another unit called as the resources. So what is resource? Are nothing but these are the wealth of the nation. So conservation and utilization of the land and land resource, mineral resource, water resource, biotic resource, marine resource, and ecological problems and their management. So this is again a very good scoring question, very interesting to learn. And this unit of resource is followed by the agriculture. So as far as agriculture is concerned, means we have to see, again there are a question in 66 BPSC on this unit also, what is the irrigation intensity of the cropping, crop combinations, again important point, green revolution, yes, that we did in the 1960s. Yes, then agricultural land use policy, Then rural economic and animal husbandry. Yes, again this time there was a question upon the animal husbandry in 66 BPSC. Then social forestry, important question, that is important for GS also. So what I mean to say is that there are majority of such portion that will be beneficial for you in your GS also. So this is the additional advantage of preparing this, taking this optional geography as your one of the optional subject. Then industry, as far as industries are concerned, we have to see the history of industrial development. Again, this point is important for your GS paper 2. Yes, especially section 2nd. So the location and study of the mineral based, agro based and forest based industries, the industrial complexes and the industrial regionalization. So again very interesting point, followed by the transport and trade. So again there was a question in 66 BPSC, but it was current based. Traditionally we have to study what transport system is, but the question was on recent BPSC, the question was on NHAI, that is National Highway Authority of India, that is works under the aegis of Ministry of Transport. Yes, so why it was? Because it was in news, it was in current development. That's why they clubbed this question with this transport unit. So this is the thing that we have to take into account, and we have to be more vigilant that yes, if any your current affair you can find that this recent development or this recent update in the current affair, it is pertaining to our this syllabus, it is relevant for this syllabus, then in that case you may definitely use this point and you keep it with as your collection. So certainly there may be a question, who may guess? So along with roadways, there are the railways, waterways, then intra and inter-regional trade and the role of rural market centers. Then followed by the settlement. As far as settlement is concerned, rural settlement pattern, then urban development in India and its problems. Again there, this 66 BPSC, there was question upon this, its problem. The question was in 66 BPSC was upon the slums. So, internal structure of the Indian cities, town planning, slums. Yes, it was this point that fetched a question for UPSC 66 BPSC. The question was upon the slums. Then RDP, regional development and planning. So 5-year plans, then multi-level planning, state, district and block level planning, regional disparities in the development of India. Again, this was for BPSC 66. There in the mains optional there was a question upon this regional disparities. Yes. Now the political aspects of national level, political problems of India, state recognition, the reorganization, then the internal boundary of the India, related issues, India and geopolitics of the Indian Oceans. Yes, followed by we have to see the geography of Bihar under the following heads. So students, let me tell you that as far as this point of geography of Bihar is concerned, we have to deal it in a similar manner as we have done the geography of India. See, again here the physiographic divisions of Bihar, the size of it, the forest of it, the climate of Bihar, the pattern of agriculture, the problems of drought prone and flood affected regions and their solutions. Then the cheap mineral resources which are like iron, copper, bauxite, mica, coal, then principal industries such as iron and steel, aluminium, cement, sugar industry which is more important, then principal industrial regions, this is also again important question. Then followed by the problems of population in Bihar. Again there was a question upon this, why the urbanization is so poor in Bihar in compared to the national level. There was a question in BPSC, the problems of tribal population and their solution, the pattern of urbanization in Bihar, all these. So it is this, in this way students we can deal with the syllabus. So now I will come to the point that majority of the students say that sir, it is good, geography is very interesting subject, we like it much, we can understand it very well easily, it is better to reproduce, but the syllabus is vast. So students, what I will recommend is that even if the syllabus is vast, but see, its relevance is there in the PT, its relevance is again in the mains. So anyhow, you have to read the same majority of the concepts for your GS as well as your PT as well as GS mains. Firstly, then secondly, even if the syllabus is vast and the study material that we will discuss now, it comprises the bulkiest study material, but as far as the nature of the BPSC is concerned, as far as BPSC is concerned, it focuses upon only those points which are mentioned in the syllabus. Yes, so what you need to do, you have to make focus upon the syllabus as well as last year question papers. If along with preparation, in fact, I will say that before you start reading your text, you need to study your syllabus and the last year question papers. This is the best ideal way. What is the difference between the smart people? What is the difference between those who secure 200 plus marks in geography and some score less than 100 also? Why? There must be some difference, because both are the aspirants, both wanted to become an officer in the state of Bihar. But they lack some differences in their level of preparation and strategy. See, what a smart man, what a good student will do, he will, before studying the textbook, he will first see what exactly the syllabus is, what exactly that last year question papers are there. Means after that, that's why I always suggest you, before studying any particular topic, say for example any unit like geomorphology, what you need to do is that you have to go through the syllabus firstly and second correlate with the last year question paper, so that automatically and definitely will come to know that yes, this is the particular point is important on this particular plane, like plate tectonic, just a plate tectonic is mentioned, but you will understand what sort of question exactly on plate tectonic is. It is on the basis of last year question paper. Just see the question paper of recent 66 BPSC, you will see that it says that what is plate tectonic, means we have to define it, explain it plate tectonics in thoroughly. Followed by there was additional questions, means how it rejuvenates, how the Earth's surface is newer and newer. We consider it as a newer. Why? So anyhow will come to know what exactly sort of, what is this floor spreading. So you will come to know what exactly sort of question is to put in the exam. So that's why I always say that follow the syllabus and follow the last year question. Even if the syllabus is vast, but if you go systematically and keep limited only to those points into the syllabus, then I don't think that there is any issue in that. You need not to go through the entire study book material, because the books are always, reference books are always bulkier. You did not to go for those bulky books. What you have to do, you have to see, you have to do the smart work, what exactly the syllabus is and what I need to prepare, pick from that book. If you learn this, then I think your preparation will not be haphazard, your preparation will not be directionless, it will be the streamlined, it will be focused. And now let's come to the study material. What exactly the study material that you can use for your preparation? So again, we will discuss it with the help of our syllabus. So see, as far as any optional is concerned, but we will focus to the geography. As far as geography is concerned, you must start with the basic book. And I also recommend not only to my fresher students but also to my old students, or those consider, yes, I have studied geography in my graduation, I have done PG, but despite that, students, when you come to the preparation of civil services, you must keep one thing in mind, that is, you are a fresher here. It doesn't matter you have done your graduation or masters in the same geography. You have to consider, because the parameters of both your academics examinations and the civil service examination both are entirely different. That parameter, if you will apply here, then you will never succeed. This happens, or even if you will succeed, it will be very problematic process. So just keep yourself, consider yourself as you are a fresher, even though you have basic idea about it. The only relevance of your graduation or post-graduation is that it will help you to understand the concept easily. Yes, only that much advantage you can take of your background. That is the reason why you need to focus on the basic books, because UPSC as well as state, I have experience of both UPSC as well as state PCS. Even the UPSC also, it follows, takes a glimpse from the basic books, and that is the basic books are here NCERT. Whether it may be your PT, whether it may be your mains, whether it may be your GS, whether it may be your optional, the NCERT has always, it's a hero's role, it has to play. The more you read, more you will get, the better concept from out of it. And additionally, the language are the beautiful language, the simplistic language, especially for the English medium student, because our class is focused mainly for English medium students. So if students ask me, sir, what sort of language should be there? I say, go through the NCERT, try to understand what sort of language or what sort of presentation is there in NCERT. Just follow that. You will get always better score, whether it may be UPSC or any other state PCS, including BPSC, which is no exception to this also. So as far as NCERT is concerned, now I will suggest to refer NCERTs from 6th class to 12th class. So as per, then many of the students say, sir, is it really necessary to go through the 6th class to 12th class NCERT? I say that if it is not possible for you, then you must at least do one thing, that you should read class 9 to class 12 NCERTs. As far as class 11 and class 12 are concerned, there comprises 2 books, and from 6 to 10 there are one single books of NCERT. It's always better if you go through all these NCERTs. Read it once, twice, and try to understand it. Try to inculcate what exactly that subject is. It will give you the basic preliminary idea regarding the subject. Even this entire subject, if you go thoroughly through the NCERT, this entire whole syllabus will be covered. You will get at least something from these basic books. And the relevance is that, because if you directly jump to the reference books that I will tell you, then it will be some confusion for you. To avoid that state of confusion, you need to focus upon this NCERT. It is in simpler language, make your conceptual clarity, and it will boost up your confidence toward the subject. Yes, I can do very good as far as this optional geography is concerned. This is as far as NCERT is concerned. In addition, if it is possible, you may go for GC Leong. Yes, you can go through this GC Leong. In addition to this, these are considered to be the basic books. Yes. Now, you come to the reference material, reference book. So, as far as this physical geography is concerned, my dear students, it's a physical students, as far as physical geography is concerned, the basic book, it's the Physical Geography by Savinder Singh. It's a Bible for this. And students, I know I have also gone through the various editions. As far as Savinder Singh is concerned, it is separately for geography, separate for climatology or especially geomorphology. So you need not to go for those individual text of Savinder Geography. As far as the holistic, go through the only one, it's a bulkier book, but only one book of Physical Geography by Savinder Singh, which comprises all these units: geomorphology, climatology, biogeography, and your oceanography. That book is sufficient, but what you need to keep in mind is that you have to take a help of a reference of your syllabus and plus last year question papers. Because as far as Savinder Singh is concerned, it is bulkiest subject, in particular in viewpoint of your UPSC syllabus. That I have pointed one thing, that as far as oceanography is concerned, we have for our syllabus is only the relief feature of Indian Ocean. But as far as Savinder Singh is concerned, there are the relief features of Atlantic Ocean as well, and Pacific Ocean also has mentioned. You have to be so smart. You have to. That's why you must know about your syllabus. You must have idea about your last year subject paper, last year question papers. So if you are doing that, then you can be selective, and this selection or this smartness is expected in order to reduce your waste your quality time. Yes, this is as far as physical geography is concerned. Don't refer any other book. NCERT, GC Leong plus physical geography by Savinder Singh. It's more than enough. More than enough. Then come to the human and economic geography. As far as human geography is concerned, I have told you initially that as far as the first part is concerned, that comprises to physical as well as human geography. As far as human geography is concerned, yes, for physical geography, again you can go for NCERT class 11. And as far as this human geography is concerned, NCERT class 12. Yes, NCERT class 12. But Human Geography by Majid Hussain. Majid Hussain, as far as Majid Hussain is concerned, it is respected name for me students, because Dr. Majid Hussain, he is my guide, he was my source of inspiration for me. I have studied geography with him. I have also been a faculty with him. I was associate faculty for Majid Hussain. I used to assist him in some classes. Now he is no more, but still whenever his name comes, I look at him as with great sense of respect. Anything, but in addition to that, I will not say that you have to limit only to that. You can take the help from Khuller also, D.R. Khuller. This is also the very good book. So students, both the books are very good. You go through the both, and whatever best you think, you follow that. Yes, it's up to your choice. You be selective. I leave up to you which one to select. But remember, whatever book you are preparing, prepare either this one or that one. Only one. There should be no multiplicity of the books on particular topic. Yes, I am strict, very strict regarding this. Why so? I will tell why. Yeah, I will come to that later. First, then as far as one point is there in the syllabus, geographical thought. So as far as geographical thought is concerned, so students, if you think it is necessary, then you may refer geographical thoughts by Majid Hussain. Majid Hussain sir, or geographical thoughts by Sudipta Adhikari. So both are very good compilation as far as geographical thought are concerned. It is, as far as Majid Hussain is concerned, it's equally good. Yes, best. It was in fact a very important source for both UPSC as well as state PCS. But as far as Sudipta Adhikari is concerned, there is in a point-wise basis. Yes, main focus points are given there. So it becomes easier and handy for you. So you can give importance or weightage. You can also think seriously about Sudipta Adhikari also. But again, I leave up to you. Yes, it's your internal decision. Otherwise, both are very good books. Then after that, we have to come to the geography of India and geography of Bihar. So students, as far as geography of So students, as far as geography of India is concerned, geography of India. So as far as geography of India is concerned, again, the NCERTs that you have read in your class 6 to 9 helpful. In addition to that, geography of India by Dr. Majid Hussain. Again, Indian geography by your D.R. Khuller. And again, I will add here name Mr. Tiwari, R.C. Tiwari. So all these are equally good, but as far as Tiwari is concerned, I consider this bit bulkier. You can go for Majid Hussain or Khuller, but if you are more comfortable Tiwari, it is up to you. Yes, otherwise all three are very good. You can discuss with me later on regarding this if you are any more confusion regarding this. But initially, I would like to leave up to your perception what you think as a comfortable for in your viewpoint. Yes, so it's of the geography of India. Then, as far as geography of Bihar is concerned, so students, again, as far as geography of Bihar is concerned, in the market there are a number of books available. So what I simply suggest is that you should go through all those books which are available in the market and what appeals you better, one you are comfortable with. So you can follow that subject. But in addition, it's upon you. But now it's my prerogative that I will suggest you that as far as the economic survey of Bihar is concerned, it's very, very important for you. Students, as far as the special books on geography of Bihar is concerned, it's up to you. You select any of the book that is available in the market. You know, all of know. But my emphasis will be upon the economic survey of the Bihar. Students, I always emphasize upon this. Majority of the students, I see that they do not give weightage to this. But if you give weightage to this economic survey, then let me tell you, definitely you will always score a 15 to 20 marks plus in compared to your other competitors, because it will give you advantage in GS paper as well as in optional paper, yes, especially in India. So as far as now, let me tell you, as far as this geography of India and geography of Bihar is concerned, the expectation from your evaluator is that in addition to the conventional point, evaluator expects some addition from the current development. For example, recently there was a question upon the geography of Bihar. How come? Means the land use pattern or agricultural land use pattern was asked there. So while answering this agricultural land use pattern, if you give a recent data that has been mentioned in the economic survey, then definitely your answer would have been. The students, those have given some references from the economic survey, the recent one, into their questions upon that geographical agricultural reasons, agricultural land use pattern, then definitely they will score 2 or 4 marks better in compared to other. So this is the and similarly you can utilize in your various topics, right? The concept upon like your urbanization, yes, then slums data, then again various points, economic points based upon this economic survey of Bihar. So if you emphasize upon all these and incorporate these points into your answer sheet, then really believe me, it will be a great value addition for your answer, and definitely you are bound, you are eligible to get some extra advantage, extra edge over the others. Yes. So students, now again finally I will tell you that even whatever the study material I have recommended for you, it's good up to your, it's better as far as the NCERT portion is concerned. But when it comes to the reference study material, reference books, you have to be bit selective. You have to see, compare with your syllabus and whatever the point is relevant for your exam, and just pick those points. So that will reduce your extra efforts. Secondly, so as far as the point of study material is concerned, along with these reference books and NCERTs, I would like your preparation will be incomplete if you don't give any weightage to Atlas. And the best one is the Oxford School Atlas. Firstly, and second, the class notes, both printed as well as handwritten and PDF of the classes, class PDFs, and one good newspaper if you can for your current affair. So students, along with that reference material, if you are not well armed with the Atlas, then you cannot study geography. There are multifarious benefits of Atlas. Atlas, it helps for your study purpose as well as it's important for your exam point of view. In the exam, you can deliver your best if you substantiate your answers with the map of Bihar, the map of India, map of the world, and you can pinpoint the details in that, then definitely you can get very good score, because this is the difference in between the geography and other subjects. In other subjects like say sociology, drawing Indian map, it is not as such a prerequisite requirement, but it becomes the prerequisite or essentiality. Yes, it must be supported with. Again, the additional benefit of the Atlas is that your preparation, your study becomes more easier and it more means you can keep it in your brain, you can keep it well stored. You will not forget it easily. Yes, and how to read atlas I will discuss with you in our regular classes. Then again, the greater your best source material will be your class notes or class lectures and our PDFs. Here that you can see our some handwritten material that I will provide, and again in addition to some printed notes. So if you are well armed with all these, in addition to that what you need, because as far as this portion is concerned, it comprises around 70 to 80%, yes, almost, or there are some such handwritten materials or such points where you need not to go through any other book, because I have taken the crux from all those standard references itself. But still, if you want to satisfy yourself, what you can do, the task up to you is that you can make the addition from the current development. If there is any current development, that you can substantiate with your answer. Firstly. Secondly, if you are going through NCERT, if you are going through any standard reference material, and if you find that yes, this point is particularly important and we can add here, then you add to these notes. Yes. So why I am telling you? Because it is very, very necessary, because you will follow just my notes itself, then it will be common for all, because all of my students will write the same thing. Now where the individuality will come, speciality will come, it's up to you. If you find some portion from current affairs, some points from your standard reference material or NCERT, and if you are mentioned it that is not in here, then it will give some extra point to the examiner or evaluator. Yes, and it will enrich your answer. This you can do. So this much as far as the study material is concerned, I think this is more than sufficient. And students, believe me, one golden rule that I always tells in my every batch, the golden rule as far as the civil services exam is concerned. What is it? It's always better to read one text 10 times instead of reading 10 different texts one time. Getting it? This is the golden rule. Must follow. Means what? Means instead of reading 10 different things one time, means you are reading this also, you are reading that also, you are reading that also, you are reading that also, one time it will not yield result. But if you focus upon the very good standard material and you read again and again, again and again, then that is important for you. Getting it? Now, notes preparation. So students generally ask me about the notes preparation. Sir, what about the notes? Whether do we need to go for the notes? Students, I always say again the similar point. So here you will get class material, class notes, class lectures, and handwritten material or PDF or everything. But in addition to that, what you have to do, you have to note down it into your own language. If you can, you can copy the majority of the material, but if you can add some points, you must do it, because if some addition is there by you, then it will be easier for you to remember. Firstly, you can reproduce it into the exam very well. That is second important point. And this is about the notes. Means initially your notes will be a bit in detail, but when the exam approaches, I always want to focus upon the micro notes. Micro notes. What are micro notes? Micro notes are nothing but this comprise just bullet points of your particular topic. Means the topic that is comprising such 4 or 5 pages, you can summarize it into a very single page or half an page. And students, again the second golden rule I am telling you, our target is 200 plus. Yes, our target is 200 plus. If you want to secure 200 plus, it will not happen just you make your verbal expression. You just desiring of that but doing nothing, it will not yield. What is the important stage for securing this? How I will consider that yes, you are the important contender for securing this 200 plus, to become a member of this elite club of 200 plus. The important thing is that making these micro notes. That means your notes, entire 4 or 5 pages content topic is you have summarized by into a single page. And if you do that, remember my student, it will create a miracle. I am telling all these things on the very first day because I don't want to hide anything from you. It's up to you, right? Since very first day, you should know all these steps. So what steps you need to go. All these are the steps that are required for you to make a better result in the examination. And right since the very first day, you have to follow all these techniques. And finally, there is one last point, and that has been asked by you. I will take 5 minutes more, Ravi. Is there any faculty for next class? No? Okay, I will continue. So students, I am coming to the important point. Yes, this is up to what about your study material and notes. Yes. So now the very important point, and I am also explaining that point very first day itself, and that is how to score the best score, the dream score. I will say the dream score. Dream score of 200 plus. Students, I want to discuss this point on the very first day. As such, it is not required, but I am doing it. Why? Because I want to throw a challenge upon you in your pocket. I guarantee you that you will secure 200 plus marks, provided that what is required for me, what I expect from your part. See, there is a two-way strategy. If you must be ready for that. On my part, I am ready to give 100%, but on your part, you too must be in position to give your 100%. If it is possible for you, then we can think upon this point. How come? See, for this there is the roadmap comprises the two steps. One is study room tactics, strategy, and exam room strategy. Students, if you want to achieve this dream score of 200 plus marks, then you will have to follow this two-way strategy, that is the study room strategy and the exam room strategy. Getting it? Study room strategy and exam room strategy. So as far as, unless and if you follow both the strategies meticulously, then definitely you will have this 200 plus mark in your pocket. How come? So as far as this study room strategy is concerned, what it comprises, what I mean by study room strategy. So as far as study room strategy is concerned, it begins with your very first day, and it begins with the reading of your basic books. You must go through all your basic books like NCERT and NCERT especially. Even if you skip GC Liang, doesn't matter. It's necessary for UPSC. But as for BPSC, the basic books, that means the NCERT. It is wonderful welcome measure if you follow GC Liang also, no issue, because you will get some better diagram and better explanation in GC Liang also, especially for the landforms etc. Yes, so I would like to keep it as a handbook for you. So your first step begins with reading the basic books. After reading basic books, you need to go through attend our regular classes. Attend my classes regularly and sincerely and religiously. I will put in my 100%, but I need your concentration, your same focus, your contribution on your part also. On classes, day-to-day classes, whatever I will study, you will have to sit home. That of course this is not off-room class, so you are in the home itself, but again go frequently once or twice and through your classes and prepare that topic. It's then and there at that day itself. This is a bit difficult, this sounds to be very difficult, but I think this is a very difficult stage in my level of preparation and my teaching is. What I expect for my students is that if you do, you must study, you must thoroughly learn by heart and understand what I have taught you today. If you prepare that entire topic on the same day, then students, believe me, by the end of our syllabus, as we end our class and the last day of class, you are around 80 to 90% preparation, syllabus will be covered by the same time. And if you keep on postponing, yes, I have taught today, yes, sir have taught us, we have videos, we'll go through it tomorrow, on the day after tomorrow, on one beautiful day, yes, today is Friday, on Monday, it's Mataji's days, I will go on that day, no. On the same day on which I am teaching you, you must prepare and learn it by heart on the same day. With the help of your maps, with the help of diagrams, with the help of some standard reference material also. And if you are doing that, then you have won half the race in the golden journey of securing your goal dream. Don't miss this stage. Day to day study, day to day study. Even if you are not appearing for the exam, despite that, then followed by go to some reference texts if you think, and must focus upon the current affair. And if you see in a particular newspaper like Hindu, for English medium students, it is Bible, Hindu, no alternative remedy. That's why I will recommend Hindu also. Hindu and current affair, economic survey and all these are, whenever you pick a very good point, just make addition to your notes or keep in the writing. And that's why I always tell my students that while preparing the notes, what you need to do, you need to keep some space blank at your right corner, and whatever new you can have, you can make it note here also. Yes, or what I suggest, after one or two alternate papers, you leave the back side of this page just blank, so that you can add at the back of the page, you can note all those points, and it will handy for your preparation in the last hours of the exam also, because on the same notes you will have entire material. You will not have to see paper 2 or 3. Yes, so what I suggest, keep one page blank at the back side of your page, keep blank, so you can add new additions throughout the year. Yes, so if you must do all this, you must practice your maps and diagrams. See students, if you want to score 200 plus marks, then this is very, very important another way. If you are doing very good map drawing practice, you are getting, yes, which place is located here, which point is important here, what is the location, how to draw map, and how to make diagram presentation, for example cyclone, etc. So if you are making good practice of the diagrams and all these, then it is beneficial in two sense. One, it will save your time, precious time in the exam hall, and second, the finishing or the presentation will be good. The presentation of the diagram will be better, it will save your time, and it will impact good impression toward the evaluator, and more beyond that, you will be more confident. Yes, I have drawn it very meticulously. Yes, it's good presentation. It will boost up your confidence in your that exam hall itself. So this is also equally important stage, important process. So these are called as the study room strategies. And coupled with the finally, after the end of topic, you have to do the regular practice of answer writing. If your answer writing is not, you are not doing the answer writing, if you are not attempting the question, especially the last year question paper, after successive intervals, say at the end of the week or so, then again you can expect securing 200 plus mark. So regular answer writing practice. So as far as answer writing practice, you have to do yourself, and again I am with you. I will give you the crux, yes, how to write a very good handsome answer, the impressive answer, what should be the ideal answer should comprise like, I will tell you. And again, but I will take you from your part. You will have to take more laborious effort himself. I am standing here as a guide for you, but you have to do yourself, because you will rely only on my answer, then you will not do on your own. And if you will not do your own, then you will not open the channels of the brain. Yes, how to write, how I had written an introduction earlier, how I made the content body, how I have concluded the answer. So that's why I will take it laborious efforts from you. And again, as far as, yes, I will come to that point, online class and offline class. So I am coming to the next part of this our dream score strategy, that is exam room strategy. So as far as exam room strategy is concerned, again students, see, now you have done your completed half marathon year. This is study room strategy. If you are following all these rules religiously, then you have just completed your half marathon. Yes, but in order to complete your entire marathon successfully and achieve this golden target, you have to be equally smart in exam room strategy. As far as exam room strategy is concerned, what is comprised, what I mean by exam room strategies, I will tell you today itself. As far as this exam room strategy is concerned, again it is very, very important. Because if you are doing better on that room strategy but failing here, it's of useless. And at this point, that's why I want to know today itself, so that right since the first day of our classes, it should be in your mind, yes, what way I have to proceed further. So the very first, it begins with the sincere reading of the question in the question paper. Sincere reading, thoughtful reading. You must, when you come with the question paper, you must read that question sincerely and very, very carefully, very, very meticulously, so that you will come to know, yes, what exactly, because this question comprises different parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, maybe. So, and you should know, you have to focus what exactly the important read, whether it is examined, whether it is discussed, whether it is explained, because all have different connotations that we'll see in detail in our regular classes again. So, first step, after that you will come to know why it is necessary, what exactly is expected from you by the examiner. Firstly, what the examiner expect, what is the expectation from your part, and second, it will help you to judge yourself what content I have, or how good I am in dealing with this question, because as far as UPSC, this BPSC is concerned, you have number of options here. You have to, out of 12 questions, you have to attempt 6 questions, total 6 questions, each carries 50 marks. And from section part 1, you have to pick just 3 questions, and part 2, again 3 questions. So you have good alternatives here, good options here. And that's why you have to do this strategy, read question carefully, try to understand what examiner expects from you, because many times happens, examiner expects something and you are understanding, you understand differently and you write other differently. So the result is, hard work is your resulting into the 0 score. So this is very, very strategy. Just think for a fraction of second whether I can have sufficient material, I can attempt it or not. If it is, it's fine. Otherwise, think of the next question. Firstly, then what important thing happened? The selection of question. How the question can be selected? Now there is a suitable criteria for the selection of question. So what exactly is the criteria for selection of question? For selection of question, the first importantly, just see whether the question is from physical geography or human geography. If it is on the physical geography, you have very good content, you are very confident about it, then you must give weightage to it. Yes, because physical geography has scientific nature, no such diverse parameters. It is very focused line question. So if you attempt this, then there is little scope of reducing your marks. So if your content is matter, so content also matters. If content is very good, then if you are thoroughly understood, you know, then give emphasis to the physical geography. Major emphasis should be that will help your scoring. As far as human geography is concerned, if you need to take help from it because you are not comfortable in physical geography, then only you should switch to human geography. Why so? Because the inherent nature of the questions on human geography. As far as human geography is concerned, it is this concept is bit difficult or tedious to understand. Its understanding requires a lot of depth, because you need to go into the depth of that topic so that you can understand it. And after understanding it, you think that initially, yes, I know it, but when you come to the presentation, somewhere you lag and see that, yes, the answer became very much generalistic, I am not able to make it very better. So these are the number of difficulties involved in attempting the human geography question. But if it is a question on geographical thoughts, different school, if you are thoroughly prepared, then again I will suggest you must attempt the human geography question. Why? On the question of the geographical thoughts. Why? Because the geographical thoughts, for example, the quantitative evaluation, then behavioralism, there are static points. All those static points are there. There is no such much proliferations to it, no such diverse concept and ideas related to it. And if you are thoroughly prepared, you attempt it very well in the exam hall, then you will again get good marks. Because among the geographers and among the evaluators, there is good likeness or favoredness to the geographical thought. So you should try to attempt this geographical thought question, firstly. Secondly, sometimes there is a 50 marks question, sometimes there is 25 marks question, 2 questions to 25 marks. So again in this I will say, if you have sufficient concept or material, larger material, then on that point you can go for this 50 marks per question. But if you think that you have little material available, then you can go for 25 marks questions each. Again, other parameter of this point is that if Third point, if you know, the third situation that if you know this 50 marker question also very well, if you know 25 markers, 2 questions, sub questions also very well, then in that situation, if you know both the questions very well, then you should go, what I suggest, to give weightage to these 225 marker questions, because through a regular practice, I have seen that it is a tendency of the examiner to award some better score to these 225 markers questions. So the principle is that these bit questions fetch more mark, 1 or 2 mark you will get in compared to 50 mark question. If you are attempting these 25 marker questions, you will attain 1 or 2 more marks. So in that situation, again you can go for 25 marks question itself. I will explain this point in our regular classes, how it is, how it happens. Don't worry, just keep this much point now in your knowledge. So this is second point. Now as far as exam is concerned, then you are at exam hall strategy is concerned, what you need to do, this is selection of the questions. You have to be very meticulous regarding your content. You have to be very watchful about the time limit. Yes, what exactly the time limit is concerned. See, the general basic, the concept behind this is that you have to attempt 6 questions. Yes, and for 50 marker question, if it is, I generally tell to write answer up to 5 or 6 pages, and the time limit should be 30 minutes. For 25 marker question, the time pages should be around 4 pages you can write, or 3 pages is sufficient, it is also sufficient, and time is again 50 minutes. So you should stuck to this formula. If you are stuck into this formula, then you will find that very comfortably you are completing your paper without any hodgepodge. Yes, and you will be more confident, you will not commit any mistake. So what students do, they give over weightage to the 1 or 2 first questions, and again they give the passing attempt to the rest of the questions. Believe me students, again the golden principle that I am telling, every question carries equal mark, that means 50. So attempting 1 or 2 questions very well and lengthier, you will not reward 45 or 50 or 60. Yes, but attempting all the questions in a balanced manner will definitely reward a good score, that will increase your good score. Yes, so students, these are the general instructions how you can enhance your score and how you can be in a merit list. So this is just a basic concept that I have discussed with you today. There are many other things, many other aspects of our preparation strategy. I will discuss how to study, how to prepare, how to write the answer, how to draw the diagrams, how to practice Indian map, because I see majority of the students are faces difficulty in drawing world map or India map. So or any other. So in this aspect also I will tell you the technique how to draw, then it will lead to your perfections. So such questions and any other questions, whatever the doubts are in your mind, just keep it with them. I am here to resolve those, because I am committed for my performance, and same I expect from you. Firstly, and secondly, students, this is not our offline class, so don't bother. Because of the COVID situation, you have to adjust, you have to become bureaucratic officer, and bureaucratic officer must be in position to deal with every problematic situation. Another benefit of this online class is that you will have my content, my lecture forever with you. If it had been an offline class, then only once you would have got what sir has taught today. But the benefit with the online class is that you can go through the video for number of times frequently. Yes, so that is another advantage. But despite that, even if it is offline class, online class, we will not be away from each other. We will be in touch with regularly. I will see how you are doing answer writing practice. If there are any doubts, we will take a special class for clearing the doubts. If there are doubts, you can put to me. I will clarify those. So as such, there will be no any difficulty in dealing with this. The only, as far as my part is concerned, see, my level of preparation or teaching is that I will focus on 2 parts. One, to make the conceptual clarity of the subject. My strategy will be to make the conceptual clarity of the subject and to be BPSC centric. I will not make you UPSC centric. Yes, of course, the material is relevant same, but as we have to crack this exam, so for that we will deal in different classes. For UPSC classes, we will have a different session. But this is BPSC class, and we have to be very focused. So my preparation strategy will be 2 way. The conceptual clarity of each and every concept of geography, so that we will find it very easier and handful and confident as far as geography is concerned. and second is BPSC centric. We will focus upon the BPSC aspect itself. I am ready to put in my hardest labor for you, but what I expect from you students is that you must attend the class sincerely, you must prepare the topics whatever I have taught today. On the same day itself, I need this much commitment, because I will ask you what you have taught yesterday. Yes, this is the characteristic feature of our class, that we discuss what we have taught, what I have taught yesterday and what you have understood. You should be in position to tell your answer, even though you are behind this camera, but still you have to be honest with you. I will ask the question from this front of camera, and yes, do you know what we have teach? Do you know, can you define this? What are air masses? Can you define what is density and what is something, and what is air pressure? What are the atmospheric structure? What is soil? How you can define tribes? So by sitting there behind the camera, you should know, yes, I can tell, I can't tell. If you can't answer, then it's a matter of shame and it's worthless, because if you are not securing 200 plus in optional, then I think something wrong, and that I will not like. I will be stricter here. On my part, I will be stricter here. This I am telling you, decide on the very first day that I will must see whether you are doing your homework properly or not. Yes, so students, I think this much is sufficient as far as our this introductory class is concerned, as far as BPSC geography optional. Again, if there are any doubts, we will deal with it. But one thing I would like to remember is that even if you are non-geographer background, even if you are science students, even if you have not loved your geography in your school days, but I am here to make it interesting. And really, believe me students, geography is very, very interesting. Somewhere there is lacuna on the part of teacher or somewhere on the part of students. That's why it becomes mismatching. But this will not happen with our class. We will study it with the greatest enthusiasm, greatest interest, and you will not, whatever experience I get from my students, the students say that sir, class is over, but we don't think that it would have been continued. It's very interesting and interesting. And the same I expect from your batch also. So students, let's come together. It's a giant effort on my part, on the part of Mobishala online platform, on the part of Dhruva Educational Academy, and on the part of at one side and other side with you. Yes, and remember, you are answerable to me, to Mobishala, and to your parents. Yes, it's not your individual task. It is a task of, it is pride of Mobishala also. It is pride of your Dhruva Educational Academy that has been directed by me. It's being your guru, your teacher. It's matter of pride for me, and it's matter of prestige for you too. And it's our stake of all these members is at our prestige that is at stake. So you have to take care of this. So be sincere, be honest to your preparation. Rest, leave upon me. Fine? Okay. So let's walk together. We make this beginning of 66 BPSC optional geography in greatest enthusiasm. Thank you, all of you. I would like to see you in next class. Thank you. Jai Hind.